Woke up, wished that I was dead, with an aching in my head, lay motionless in bed. Thought of you and you go, and the world spins my own. Well, hello, good evening, good afternoon, all at the same time. Hi, I'm Christie Lenée, so happy to be here. I am showcasing Maton guitars tonight. Hi, Maton, hi, Australia, so nice to see all of you. I'm going to start off with a brand new piece. This is my first stream that I've done in quite a long time, so I'm excited to play for you. This is a newer tune, it's called Possibilities. Once again, good afternoon, good evening. It's all different time zones. I know I feel like we're all in different time zones and maybe different mental spaces all at once. You know, it's been an interesting time in the world, and I'm here to bring you a little love and to talk about these Maton guitars. One thing that I love about these instruments is the pickup system is just extraordinary. You can get things like this, and notice that it comes through the sound system. I'm streaming live now from home in Nashville, Tennessee, and I want to play a tune for you that I played for the International Fingerstyle Guitar Championship, which was in 2017. I did not know that I would end up walking away with the first place. That was a pretty crazy time. And thanks to this composition, I won Acoustic Guitarist of the Year 2019 in London. Shout out to all my friends in Europe who are probably sleeping right now. This is the tune that I played, and I just want to thank Maton Guitars. They've been such an incredible support system for me here in this life of a musician, and I have to say there's nothing like these instruments. And this is actually a Q&A, so if you have questions about the instruments or anything, post them in the comments, and after this song I will answer some questions. This is Song for Michael Bukash, and conveniently it's in the same tuning as the last song, which is F-A-C, F-C-F. It's kind of a fun tuning that I really like to play with, very unique. This is Song for Michael Bukash. haven't heard that sound in so long. Let's see, are there questions? Let's see if, maybe if I'm going to refresh the stage. Okay, I don't see any questions, so I'll just keep going. Again, this is a Q&A, so if you have questions, feel free to. By the way, I just released a new song today. It's actually a Beatles medley, and it was recorded when I opened up for Tommy Emmanuel in Poland last November, and it's live on Spotify now, so you can go check it out. I'm going to switch to the 12-string. These 12-string guitars are absolutely insane. They're just total beasts. I'm going to do a song that I learned during quarantine, actually. A couple weeks ago, the craziest thing happened, or it was maybe 3 weeks ago. Ironically, I can't really remember because I got a concussion. I had a blackout power outage in my log cabin in North Carolina, and I was upstairs in my little studio looking for something and stood up and hit my head really hard on a speaker and got a concussion. And it was pretty much the craziest thing, or one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me, because I had to go on complete brain rest. And brain rest for someone who is constantly creating is very challenging. But I learned a lot through that experience, and really just the practice and the art of being, and the practice of, learning how to not let my mind run my life, which is very easy to do. So anyhow, this is my first live stream ever since that happened, and not only am I doing the first live stream since that concussion, but I'm also having this great fortune to get to play on this beautiful stage in Nashville, thanks to the folks here at home. Thank you, all of you, for setting this up. This is such a treat to get to play on a stage with 3 cameras and other people running the audio, as opposed to me in the cabin trying to sort all this out. So thank you, guys. This is a song that I learned during the time of quarantine, and it resonates a lot right now. This is called World Spins Madly On by the Wee Peas.
Wish that I was dead, with an aching in my head, lay motionless in bed. Thought of you when you're gone, and the world spins my own. Everything that I said I'd do, make the world brand new. Take time for you. Just got lost, stepped right through the dark, and the world spins by the arm. The world spins by the arm. And the world spins by. The days go by, and always say goodbye. I watch the stars from my windowsill. The whole world is moving, but I'm standing still. Wish that I was dead, with an aching in my head, losing them. The night is here, the day is warm, and the world spins madly on. 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 The world spins madly on.
Oh, we have questions. What kind of strings do I use? So, I use Savares strings. Actually, only in the last year I've been using these strings, and they're amazing. They actually have a much softer touch than other strings I used before, and I like that a lot. I actually have a custom set that I recently had put together by the great team at Savares. They've been so good to me. And so we did a special set for Savares, and it's, I think it's 13 to 60. So my highest string is a 13, which is normally the, I guess, a medium gauge. Because I'm still getting my brain back. It's a medium gauge string, but we have lower ones on the lowest two strings. And the delay pedal, I have two different delay pedals. Most of the time I use the one that I've had for years, and I literally keep it on one setting, which is the level and feedback at exactly 12 o'clock. And I have it on the analog delay setting, and the tone also exactly at 12 o'clock. It's nothing fancy. And really all I do is turn it on and turn it off. But when you see my foot stomping a lot on the pedal, it's because I'm obsessively creating a tap tempo. Of course, my tempo is going to fluctuate a little bit from time to time when I'm live because of all of the adrenaline running through me. So you'll notice me kind of stomping on this thing. And what I'm doing is getting the tempo to synchronize with my foot so that the delay can be good. But I also have an Eventide H9 pedal, which I do use for a delay. Mostly when I play with a band and electric, I've got a lot of really crazy delays in there. But right now I'm just using that the pedal for a reverb, which I really like. And it's my modification of their setting called Carnegie Hall, because who doesn't want to be playing in Carnegie Hall? Yeah, thanks for asking those questions. Who was it that asked? What tuning am I playing in? That's a good question, and if you asked it after every song, the answer would be different, except for the first two songs that I played were in an open F, so it's FAC, FCF. And I really love that tuning. By the way, I'm tuning my guitar while I tell you about this. So the first two songs, FAC, FCF, I really like that tuning, and that's low to high, by the way. The reason why I like it is because it's a major sound, but the fifth string, aka the second to lowest string, is the third of the chord, which is a very interesting thing for a tuning. It's quite different than other tunings, and I like that. The last song that I just played was in Dadgad. Usually I sing that song on a soprano 12 string in the Dadgad tuning, but just a half step down, so it would be like a C sharp tuning, but all of the Dadgad intervals, which is D-A-D, G-A-D. And the next song I'm going to do is in a little bit of a modification of a Dadgad. I like a lot of variations of dadgad. This one is dadgad, but the A string is tuned down to a G. So it's like an open G sus tuning from the 5th string, like this. And it has the 5th string on the bottom. And I like that sound. I also love this exact same tuning with the low string as a C. So you would get this note on the bottom, an octave lower, and it's a really interesting sound. I think Michael Hedges used some tunings like that where you had the 4 on the bottom. I'm not actually sure if that's true, but intuitively from listening to him, I know that every time he would hit that really big 4 chord in his songs, it would give me chills, and so I liked the sound of the lowest string of my guitar being the root note of the 4 chord. For all of you music theory nerds like me, those are some of the tunings that I use. I also like dadgad modified into an open D, which would take the G string down to an F sharp, so that'd be D, A, D, F sharp, A, D. I love that tuning. And then I have another modification of it, take the F sharp down to an F, and then it's D minor, D, A, D, F, A, D. And there's so many different variations of it. You know, dadgad, you could also take the A string, the 2nd string, and bring it up to a B, and then you take this A and move it down to a G, and then you'd have D, G, D, G, B, D. So it's like a G major chord with the 5 on the bottom. So I like finding cool tunings and changing them. That's kind of my interpretation of open tunings. It's like I'd like to find something that I think sounds cool or that has been done before, and then just change one of the strings. And what that forces me to do is not use my mind to compose. I have to use my ears, because I don't know any of the patterns. I have to relearn them every single time I write in a certain tuning. And I find that to be really fascinating, because I can't just memorize all of these patterns. Of course, the patterns are somewhere in my soul, and they come out in my hands eventually, but I always find that I'll come up with more unique chord voicings if I change the tuning. So I have a lot of different ones. We could talk about this for a long time, but I'll go ahead and play another tune for you, and we can take some more questions. This is in the G, I call it a G sus tuning with the 5 on the bottom. It's D, G, D, G, A, D. Whew, got it, okay. This is called Cleopatra's Eyes. Cleopatra's eyes. I do play other string instruments. I play any string instrument I can get my hands on, except for those that use a bow. That I will defer to my friend Jonathan Yudkin to do that. I play a little bit of banjo, definitely some mandolin. I love different variations of guitars, though. I like the soprano 12-string, the Viet guitars. They make some very interesting instruments that are not like a normal guitar. But yeah, I love playing different string instruments. I mean, I think it's all relative. I mean, you know, starting back before they had instruments, people would, you know, drum on anything they could get their hands on, and they would dance and sing. And I feel like music is, you know, similar in that way, that we can just find this place to find music within any instrument we get our hands on. So if you have a Maton guitar or any other guitar, I encourage you to just pick it up and try to find some melodies that you hear and would like to play, or try to play a drum beat and see if you can do something that's a little bit unique, you know, something that maybe you might not have never done before. And that's usually what I'm going for. Any more questions? Wow, that is a very good question. The question is, what is a question I would like to answer about my music that I have never had to answer before? You know, the first thing that comes to mind is, where does the music come from, is the question. And that is a pretty profound question to me that comes a lot from, you know, my reading of this book that I think every musician should have. It's called The Music Lesson by Victor Wooten. He wrote a book. Yes, I know. Anybody here? By the way, big round of applause to the folks here at home in Nashville for running sound and the lights and this awesome stage. Thank you guys. You guys have been amazing. So where does the music come from? I think, you know, just like they say in the movie August Rush, the music is all around. All we have to do is listen. And I think that is a very powerful statement, because to me, the music comes from everywhere, and the times that I've written the best music of my catalog, in my opinion, is the times where I've been able to have a lot of silence and really listen to, you know, the last instrumental piece that I wrote is called Bird Whispers, and it literally occurred from me sitting on a beach and listening to the sounds of the birds, and the rhythms of them inspired that composition. And a lot of pieces have been born that way, just listening to what's going on around me and trying to find how music can convey sounds of nature, sounds of emotion inside of me. And I think we all have it inside of us in some shape or form. So I think it's just about listening a little bit more, and then getting out all the technical stuff so we can express ourselves. That was a long answer to a question that wasn't asked, but thank you for asking the question that I would want you to ask, I guess. And what's the next one? Do I write lyrics for music first, or do I hear it all in my head at once? The answer is that it has been every single way that you can possibly imagine. It's never one way. There's no right or wrong way. I think it's all about what's kind of flowing through. First, I have had lyrics come to me when I'm sitting on an airplane or on a train or in a car, and I'm either singing it into a voice memo or writing it in a notebook, and later on writing the music for it. I've had other things that have been, the majority of my songs have come from some kind of guitar riff, and I like to write the riff and start singing, you know, a melody that comes to me, and then kind of riff on the melody a little bit and see if I can find if some lyrics start to come out. And once a few lyrics happen, then I will turn on my voice memo and open up my notebook and start writing from either that title that came out or that first line. Usually once I get the first line, the lyrics flow, and then later on I'll sit and try to figure out what the song's about. That's happened a lot of times where it's just all of these lyrics come through, and it's like, Oh wow, I actually don't know what this is about, and you have to sit and read it, and then maybe once you decide what it's about, then there's an opportunity to reshape it and rewrite it. In fact, I recorded a song today that I've probably had about 10 rewrites on, and it was so interesting because I almost wasn't sure which lyrics to sing, and it was confusing but also inspiring because there's so many ways to say the same thing, and the answer to your question is it's happened every single way you can imagine, and it's just about what comes through first, I guess, and then putting it all together. Any more questions for now? Tons of questions. Should I sing another song or just answer the questions? I'll answer the questions. My most inspiring musician, oh my gosh. It really depends on what genre we're talking about, but there was a moment that encouraged me to change my life to play music, and it was because of a man named John Michael Paris, who is the guitar professor at it's a performing arts high school where I went to school for acting as a kid, or high school student, and I would say he's the most inspiring musician, because if it weren't for him, I would probably still be doing plays and trying to, do more commercials and stuff like that. And my whole life changed because of this guy. And he performed a piece by a musician named Andrew York, and the song's called Sunburst. I would say his performance of that piece was the most incredible representation of what it is to see somebody fully express themselves through an artistic medium, and that was when it became not about music or poetry or singing or dancing or acting or any of it. Everything became one because it was about this energy moving through him when I observed his performance. So I would say John Michael Paris is my favorite. And of course there's, Tommy Emmanuel. Hello, Maton fans. He's one of my favorite musicians that's ever lived. And a lot of classical pianists, Debussy, I love Beethoven. And I love, singer-songwriters like Joni Mitchell and Indigo Girls, Michael Hedges, Dave Matthews. Those are probably some of my favorites. Next question. How do we continue to grow when we hit a plateau? You know what it is sometimes for me is to step away from it for a second and come back, to go out into nature, and also to put less pressure on ourselves. I actually had to step away from music for a little while over the last few weeks because I couldn't focus on it. I got this concussion, and it was this incredible awakening too, because I really wasn't, literally hardly played for weeks because that happened, and my brain couldn't focus. I was having to rest and heal. And I would say don't intentionally get a concussion or take 3 weeks off necessarily. But I think that it's really interesting what happens when you step away and decide. For me, what I did, I went and took a walk in the garden or look at a piece of artwork or something that makes me try to get out of my mind and into this sensation of color and artistic expression. And it could be anything, going to a museum or watching kids play in the park, or looking into the eyes of someone you love, I think can really inspire the meaning and the depth of the music. And if you hit a plateau, I think the best thing to do is to learn songs. And learn songs you love, and they don't have to be hard songs. Like, for example, that Weepy song that I sang earlier, it's a very simple song, but it's so sweet, and it's so beautiful. And that song has meant a lot to me in my life, and I heard it again recently at a very special moment, and I thought, I just want to sing this song, and I'm just going to strum, and I'm not going to do all this crazy stuff. And sometimes it's nice to just simplify and remember why you play, because it's fun, and stop putting so much pressure on yourself. I have to constantly learn that lesson. So I hope that answers your question about the plateau. Learn songs, or take a step away and come back to it, and maybe work on techniques and stuff like that too. It's a nice thing. Next question? Or should I sing a song? This is a song that I wrote inspired by a very specific event, but I'll tell you right now is the opportunity for change. It's kind of a crazy time in the world right now. And you know, when we feel like running away from the problem, that is one thing that's a human tendency, but this is sort of a song that says that in those hard moments to just be where you are and stand strong. I know we all really got to stand together right now. This is a song called Stay.
Like stone frozen, tears shattered to the bone. Light a fire, find your way back home. Take a breath, you're not in this alone. Tiptoe to the edge, looking down. Silent cry, 'cause you think no one is around. Stop now, it's only life to choose. You're the only one that can be you. Stand right where you are. Touch your hand to your heart. Feel love embrace. Stand right where you are. Open your mouth and taste how it feels to stay. Stay, please stay. You'll find your way. Your eyes and the smoke will dissipate. Hold on to love, you'll make it through. You're the only one that can be you. Stand right where you are. Touch your hand to your heart. Feel love embrace. Stand right where you are. Open your mouth and taste how it feels to stay. Stay, please stay, just stay, please stay. Please stay, stay. You'll find your way. Do you know you shine a special light? Close your eyes, take a breath, look inside. Let the warmth of your heart ease your pain. You'll find your way. Stand right where you are. Touch your hands to your heart. Feel love embrace. Stand right where you are. Open your mouth and taste how it feels to stay. Stay. one lyric away from this song with you, and the lyric is, you're the only one that can be you. You're the only one that can be you, and I'm the only one that can be me. Listen, guys, I know it's not always easy. Let's take a deep breath together, and I hope you'll sing with me and feel this in your hearts, because you're the only one that can be you. It's like this. You're the only one, the only one, 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 you're the only one, the only one,
Oh, thank you so much to Maton Guitars for being such an amazing supporter. I'm very grateful, and it's been such a beautiful opportunity to experience these instruments. Really, there is nothing like one of these guitars. They're just absolutely extraordinary. And yeah, the people are awesome, so if you're thinking about getting a Maton guitar and you're not sure about it, I think it's a good idea to just do it. I'm constantly adding to my collection, and these are really cool instruments to have. So I'll do another song that has a little bit of a tapping guitar thing going on. For those of you who were asking about the tunings, this is a song in not Dadgad, it's D-A-D, F sharp, A-D. And it's a soft little song. And there was somebody asking earlier about what to do if you hit a plateau, and sometimes I like to practice something that I feel like I want to get good at, but do it in a way that allows me to compose something. So for this particular song, I had an idea that I wanted to learn how to play in 7, because 7 isn't a very odd number to play in on the guitar or any instrument. For me at the time, I couldn't do it, so I was practicing 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 7, and so of course that wouldn't really be that much fun if I just sat there and thought about the rhythm. So I decided to come up with some particular licks and lines that would follow the 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3, and from that I composed this piece. So it was actually started as an exercise and became a piece of music. This is called Breath of Spring, and it is on my Spotify page. If you guys like the music that you're hearing, I would love for you to come and check out my Spotify. I had a new tune released today that is a Beatles medley, and last week released a song with Lawrence Juber, and there's some really exciting things on the horizon, so this is called Breath of Spring. Thank you all so much for watching. Are we good on the questions? All right. Hey, thank you all again for watching. I'm Christie Lenée. You can follow me on Facebook if you're watching on the Maiden Guitars page. My Facebook page is at Christie Lenée, Christie, and Lenée is L-E, N as in Nancy, E-E. You can find me on Spotify and Apple Music, all of those streaming platforms, on Instagram. And I want to thank the lovely tech folks here at home in Nashville. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your help. You've been amazing. It's been such a joy to play here. It ended? And it's been a long time since I've played this song, and I used to play it on every single show I will play for the longest time, because I co-wrote this tune with yours truly, my Aussie friends, Rick Price. Rick and I wrote this tune together, and we actually just wrote another tune just a few weeks ago, and I can't wait to share it. I need to work it up to performance level. But this is definitely my favorite song that I've written with Rick Price, and you can check out the music video on my YouTube channel or website, christielenée.com. And it's a song that says we belong not just to one place, we belong to everywhere. We really are one, just, you know, breathing the same sun under under a sky that can look a little crazy these days. And just many blessings and love to everybody out there. I hope you're healthy, hope you're safe, and you know, doing things to stand up for what you believe in, and speaking out when you have something to say, and, you know, we're all in this together. This is a song called Free World Citizen, and thanks again to everybody. Thanks, Gina. Thanks to Home. This is called Free World Citizen. Passenger on planet Earth, I belong to the universe. I got a body made of flesh and bones, got a past and I'm free to roam. Climb the stairs, make my way to the stars above, yeah. I'm a member in the state of love. Oh yeah. I'm moving at the speed of light, got a ticket to paradise. Along these heavenly streets, see your light shining back at me. All my brothers and sisters gathered here. My heart is open and my mind is clear. Oh yeah. Oh, 1 of 7 billion pretty white lights here spinning, moving in circles around the sun. I am a sea, the mountain, I am here, the now, and I'm in every grain of sand. I am a free world citizen. Oh yeah, free world citizen. I'm a passenger on planet Earth, I belong to the universe. I got a
body made of flesh and bone. Got a pass and I'm free to roam. Climb the stairs, make my way to the stars above. I'm a senator in the state of love. I'm on a 7 billion pretty white lights here spinning, moving in circles around the sun. I am the sea, the mountain, I am here, the now, and I'm in every grain of sand. I am a free world citizen. Free world citizen. Free world citizen. Come on. Free world citizen. Round up. Free world citizen. We are free world citizen. I'm in a world without borders, breaking through law and order. I am a woman in a free land, free world citizen. I'm one of 7 billion pretty white lights here spinning, moving in circles around the sun. I am the sea, the mountain, I am here, the now, and I'm in every grain of sand. I am a free world citizen. Oh, free world citizen. Free world citizen, come on. Free world citizen, rise up. Free world citizen, we are free world citizen. Well, come on now. Free world citizen, rise up. Free world citizen, we are free world citizen.
thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to all the people involved to make this happen with the cameras and everything, and I will see you next time. Come follow me. Cheers. And by the way, Australia, so much love to you. I was supposed to be touring there in July. All kinds of things went crazy, and I look forward to coming back to Australia. And yeah, so much love to all of you, and thank you for the love. Maton Guitars. Cheers.